guys, welcome back to another one of my Clouse's Vacation build decorating video things. You'd think I'd have a better opener by now because I've been doing this, I've been pre-recording these for like a month, so yeah, I should be doing better, but I'm not, and that's just the way it is. So today we are working on Tybalt, Capp's room. He is the oldest of the Capp siblings, kind of in my head. Obviously the birth order is not controversial, but questionable. I'm still very annoyed that they had those walls missing paint, just as an aside. I went ahead and gave him the floorboards that we find throughout the rest of the house. I feel like he's pretty no frills and he wouldn't bother with having carpet put over it. One thing that Tybalt, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you are, kind of ended up with is he strikes me as someone who's like not so secretly a paleo nerd, like he's super into dinosaurs. And I'm also not so secretly into dinosaurs, so I feel like he's just got a bit of my own personality in there, but I think it works out, because really the only thing we have to go on with him, like, is nobody really likes him, and he's outspoken, surly, proud to be a Capp, and the question is, like, will he be able to let Juliet be happy? Okay, great, not much to go off of. So he ended up getting a bit of an interest in dinosaurs. His room is also really hard because, like, yeah, he has a TV and he does have a poster, but it's one of the same posters we've been seeing throughout, and I can only make that stretch so far. So I wanted to make sure he still had a TV. I also felt like he needed some workout equipment. Like, he's a bit hench in my brain, and so it should show. I think to a lesser extent than Johnny Smith, he also has a bit of an interest in like cowboys in terms of like the white knight hero story. So that was another thing that I wanted to include. I realized after I did Hermione's room that the couch that was kind of in that weird little alcove there was probably meant to represent like a window seat. And so I wanted to make sure that I put his couch in that same spot for his room. Yes, those are the angry emoji pillows, by the way. I make no apologies. He needs them. So another thing, besides everybody kind of hating him, that I feel like is just a Tybalt thing. I'm not sure where it came from, but he's really into cats. He's like the Prince of Cats. I feel like, is that from Shakespeare? Oh my god, it's been a minute since I've read my classics, but I feel like that's a thing. So I wanted to make sure he had pet things, because I have not been able to include very many pet things in these rooms. So he has a cat, or 5, you know, we don't know. I kind of like the idea of him having like 5 cats, but they're all like solid black. So Consort doesn't know he has 5 cats, he thinks he has 1 cat. That idea pleases me. What else? I also think architecture is probably a good fit for him, just because, you know, he grew up in a historical kind of place. That's also why I left his room how it should be, so to speak. His house is very interesting, but very eclectic, so I think that would spark an interest in him as Bronaville in general. Just, I feel like he would be interested in architecture. He strikes me as the type of person who would wear socks with sandals. I was not able to properly demonstrate that, but I feel the need to tell you that. And I was also very, very upset because one of the things that I wanted to download for him were like a pair of Crocs, but I could not find Deco Crocs for The Sims 2 anywhere. So I'm crushed, and I guess he's lucky that he doesn't have those in his room. I found a different replacement that also amuses me, but we'll get into that once it's out. What else do I have in my notes? Oh. So this is part of my notes. This is my notes for after I went over his personality, and it's wants to be the hero, but it's so hard when your face is so punchable, and I think that's accurate. It was interesting to read in the wiki, though. Apparently his face is not, like, I've never ever noticed this, but like if you go and have him go look in the mirror and to like fix his face, he has a different face, like his mouth is not downturned and things like that, which I think is interesting and raises the question of like, do the Capps actively participate in plastic surgery? I couldn't really do much with it, so I just ignored it, but that's a little tidbit that I discovered. So yeah, armed with what I had decided about him, I did want, like, not like card catalogs per se, but like things that very clearly, you know, he's keeping specimens. He's, you know, they have the money, so he probably does have actual dinosaur bones because they've got the money. At this point, I was still kind of toying with what else, because I had done some downloading, but just like I didn't feel like it was sufficient enough to decorate the room, when actually I had too much stuff, as per usual. I end up cutting out so much like CCs that I intend to put in these rooms because they're so small. And I know Sims don't really need a big space, but just, it was so small. And this room is so awkward. Hermione's room is bad, but like, for some reason I thought, okay, I did one, I can do another one exactly like this, it'll be fine. No, it almost felt worse. I did for a minute, like, think of, I was pulling out, like, spy things and things of that nature, like maybe he does some nefarious stuff for the Capps, but I ended up cutting that. Just, it didn't feel right with how I was putting the room together and how his character was coming together. It just didn't seem it did not fit, so that a lot of that stuff ends up getting removed, but you're probably going to see me grabbing like that little suitcase computer thing, things like that. Those end up getting cut for that reason, is it just wasn't gelling, wasn't vibing, was not the vibe. And I actually did not reuse any CC for his room that I'm aware of, because I'd already used there's that little tiny pterodactyl statue that comes with one of the expansion packs. And I knew I had used it in Johnny Smith's room, and so I was like, you can't use that again. But that was the only dinosaur I think that I've used in another room. I also have a really, really, really cool giant dinosaur poster thing, and he just did not have a wall that could support that. Like, it was just too big. One of these days I am going to build like a museum of natural history kind of thing. That's one thing I like about like modern games, getting to build those types of community lots. Like, that really intrigues me. I've thought about, because eventually I'm going to come to the end of my ABC challenge as well as my different faces challenge, because I don't plan on doing other historical figures at this point. It was just the wives. But you never know. I've thought about going back and doing a couple different Henry VIII's as well, but I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if he deserves that. But yeah, I'm already on Anne of Cleves, who's wife number 4. And I'll be, by the time you guys watch this, I will be on the 4th one? Yeah, so I'll be in the 4th one. I mean, that doesn't... Yeah. Because I'm going to make 7. So it's 3 more of those, and then I do Catherine Howard, and then Catherine Parr, and we're done with the different faces challenge. So I kind of need something to fill that gap. And there's also, like I said, the ABC challenge, which I'm just going through the alphabet, and I'm pretty much done with that. I think I have 9 more lots. I'm not sure, I haven't counted recently, but you know, so I'll have some space on my like simming schedule. So I've thought about some sort of modern build challenge as well. I'm also thinking about the medieval charter challenge again. I always really want to play it, but I'm like terrified that I'm going to make a mistake and that like someone will clock it and yell at me. Like, I don't think I'm a big enough YouTuber to get like those types of people commenting, but like it is in the back of my brain that I will just gloss over a rule and someone will just like call it out. It's a very silly thing to be anxious about for something I haven't even created, but it's there. Anxiety is dumb. But no, you see like the big YouTubers, and sometimes they have to say in their video, hey, you know, I know this particular rule we're not following to the letter of the law, or, you know, hey, I missed this, just like little things, but they're almost apologizing to their audience, and I'm just like, oh god. This is why I don't want YouTube as a job, ever. This is just my fun little weird hobby that I do, that I try to explain to select people in my life, and they just kind of nod their head and go, I don't know what you're saying, but okay, yeah. It's a good life. It's a good life. So yeah, I'm just kind of grabbing out different things. Potentially. I know I'm in like the toy section, which you'd think since Tybalt, I class him as the oldest, he wouldn't really have very many toys left, but he's also a bit of a geek and a bit of a nerd. as an aside, I'm so disappointed in myself that for Mercutio I didn't remember those fireworks existed, because that's perfect for pranks. We could pretend that he plays firework pranks, but that's not neither here nor there. And yeah, so I'm just kind of looking. I definitely wanted to grab some pet stuff for sure. Speaking of pet stuff, hi giant cat, come on. No, not you. You're not a cat, you're a dog. You're not a cat, you're a dog. Come on. Sorry, I've got like my giant cat once in my lap, but now my dog thinks that I'm talking to her, and it's chaos. It's chaos, it's chaos. Now the giant cat is mad. This is life with multiple animals. Entertaining, but also jeez. One thing that I really wanted to include when I was thinking of workout equipment was I have like a weightlifting set that I downloaded that I really wanted to use, but his room is so small, there was just no way. So in addition to them having a stable somewhere, they also have a workout room. I settled for the exercise bike. I'm pretty happy with it. I also love that bedding with like the cats, like the sombreros and stuff. Love that. It's great. It's fantastic. It pleases me. So you can kind of see where we are. This is where I'm like, I want to put some of this in here, but yeah, it's not gonna stay. It wasn't meant to be. I did have some awards, like trophies in general, that I've put in the girls' rooms, but I honestly don't think Tybalt has awards for anything, unless it's just being a jerk. I do like kind of the hodgepodge collection of like bookshelves and cabinets and things like that. I like to imagine that some of those things were already there and he just kind of saved them and put them in his room. But he also uses them for like collecting specimens kind of thing. But yeah, the only weights that he ended up with are these two little hand weights. I don't know what they're called, dumbbells? So yeah, now we could add the dinosaurs, which is my favorite part. I did edit heavily before, obviously. I didn't put all of my dinosaur things because some of it's not appropriate for a bedroom. I tried to keep only things appropriate for a bedroom. Some of it is also not dinosaurs, some of it's like a snake and a frog skeleton and like a cat skull and things. It just kind of, it did fit the aesthetic, so I was like, I'm gonna leave these in. But yeah, that's the one thing with Capp money, like, they are able to afford kind of buying these types of specimens, so to speak. But I have those conversion fossils from The Sims 4. I got rid of the ones that were not dinosaurs, so those two get yanked because it didn't make sense. Like, he might have a fossil that's not a dinosaur, but unlikely. He does have the plant one. I did give him the plant one. And this is me just kind of editing how I want everything to be. I try to fill up the slots before I over-decorate things, just because it makes it easier. Things don't try to snap to slots that I don't want anything on a slot a lot of times, and it'll snap there anyways, so I try to work with that. But yeah, he's got like a seashell, which kind of looks like an ammonite shell, so I was like, alright, we'll pretend. We'll pretend. We can pretend. I think that's a dog skull, cat skull, some kind of skull, I don't know. I love this planter. I got a whole huge set of them. And the dinosaur is perfect. I think he also gets cat ones as well. He gets a bunch. I didn't intend to give him a bunch of plants, it just kind of happened. Not like okay, take it back, not a bunch, but more plants than initially in his room. Yeah, it almost looks, not like a professor's office perfectly, but like a little bit. Because he has access to all of these, like, specimens that he, again, probably wouldn't have if he didn't have the Capp money, but because they're Capps and they're wealthy, and Consort probably doesn't care too much what he buys as long as it has value, he can get away with buying some cool stuff. I was annoyed with that bookshelf too because the slots, so these OMSPs are all different heights, and so their shelves were like off, so I couldn't use the same OMSP for all of them, and I was like, stop it. And that little corner where the like the couches and the TV. I know it's squeezy, but I just really like it. Because in my head, that couch is a built-in item. Like, it's, you know, a solid piece of furniture attached to the house kind of thing. And yes, he does get to keep this because I love it. So, yeah, putting the TV there kind of makes sense, and having it blocked off a little bit, I was able to excuse it. So I did have some cowboy items, not too many, but I did give him the silver boots because I thought it was funny, and that hat. I thought about having this little pony, and I was like, that's not enough. I also, because all the Capp kids are getting an instrument, I decided that he played the saxophone. I don't really know why, it worked to me. It was that or the trombone. I don't know why those instruments were appealing to me, but that's what was decided. So now I'm looking at kind of like my architecture pile. So I've said it before, but I always kind of cluster the different types of clutter into different categories, and for him, you know, he was going to have an interest in architecture, so he needed some CC that was architecture related. I gave him the, rather than the excellent quality, like, bridge, that's a conversion from Sims 4 as well. I gave him the average one, just because I don't think he's the best student in the world, and so why would he have the best version of that bridge? I gave him SimCity, just again, trying to show his interests. I couldn't remember at this point if he had a radio or not, and so I decided to just go ahead and include one. But it works out. And then this desk was going to be the death of me. Because some items, for whatever reason, even though I would put them on the exact same OMSP, like, you saw that paper, the bottom of it was gone. And I was like, wait a minute, why is that happening? That shouldn't be happening. But then other items, it wouldn't be gone. And I did not understand why. I was a little frustrated. It also curled up too, and I didn't like that. So I ended up putting it down on the bottom because I wanted to include it because it's blueprints and it's got the little tool there and everything. But yeah, wasn't super thrilled with that. So I just gave him like a little notebook, you know, some video games just to show he is into gaming. That's a thing that kind of decided. I like the voice recorder as well. He seems like the type that would like monologue to himself and would want a record of it. And then I kept both of these models. One's a stadium and one's the science center, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't even know what you would really call this furniture style. Like, it's kind of modern, but it's kind of not. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear my fat cat purring. He is on the desk now and not moving. He says, no, I'm not. I did end up deleting a lot of the cat items because I'm like, realistically, they wouldn't be in his room. They'd be somewhere else in the house. But he does keep these planters because they please me greatly. I also wanted this a bit more centered on the top of that. Like, I didn't like that it was slotting to the back. I don't understand why it had slots like that. I didn't understand. So I went ahead and I put it on an OMSP instead. And then I moved this little toy Stegosaurus. I'm trying to remember where I actually put it. I think I put it there. Yeah. And then I keep these cat planters. They just got like ferns and things in them, nothing super fancy, but I did one in red to kind of match that pillow. And then of course plants. I think I yank most of those. I just figure since Juliet is so into gardening, like, everybody ends up with plants whether they want them or not. Maybe they're failed experiments. At some point they all have a plant. I also wanted to give him Legos since he's interested in architecture. I figured maybe as a kid he had Legos and he still just kind of has them. But I also wanted to see how neat he was. He wasn't super messy, but he wasn't super neat either, so I was like, eh, he can have some Legos kind of near his gaming area under the couch. That makes sense. Now I'm just kind of looking through the assorted clutter bits that I have, including the desk clutter, which I've already kind of decorated his desk at this point, so I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to put most of this up. But I wanted some of it. I'm really sad about this pencil thing. It has the weirdest shadow. So every time I place it, I'm like, actually, no. And then I put just like this little pencil case with a little cat pattern on it, because of course I did. I think those are cats. I don't know, it's hard for me to see. He's probably got some form of depression or another, so I was like, yeah, we'll give him some pills. I'm just giving the pre-mades all kinds of problems. It's fine. And then I just gave him some cookies and some coffee. I did try and restrain myself with the clutter though. Also, I'm really happy with this. I made it look like it's hanging off the exercise bike. Super happy with that. There's all like the survival henchman things that I was like, actually this just isn't, it doesn't fit with the room that I built at that point. Like maybe if I'd started with that, He also has like a little secret flask there, which I actually think Tybalt probably could be a fun drunk. I don't think he's mean. I think he's probably funny. And now for the books. I don't think I give him too many. Like, I don't think that he's very smart. It's not like me being mean. It's just I don't see Tybalt as a very smart dude in general. I think he tries his best. But I gave him a few books that I just kind of cluttered around here and there. There actually wasn't a lot of shelf space, despite how many shelves and different types of storage unit things are in this room. But we had some space down here, so I was like, okay, I'll just put some books down there. That's fine. We're almost to my favorite part, which is putting up all of the pictures. This is just kind of the generalized clutter that, again, I've mentioned before, that I have just kind of as an in case the room isn't filled enough, which I don't know why I think the room's not going to be filled enough. It always is filled enough, but somehow I always think, just in case, what if it's not? What if it's not? So I give him a backpack. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to place the globe or the paper cranes. I think I ditch the globe, but I keep the cranes. There's just something interesting. I kept moving that on accident, and then I was just like trying to place it back to where it went. And on this last pass, I accidentally put it too far forward, so it cut the dinosaur tail on the ground, but It's fine. There's this giant thing that I wanted to use, and I was like, oh, come on, please. So I was like seeing which dinosaur posters I wanted to keep. Which I only kept 2, which shows some restraint for me. Oh no, wait, that's a lie. I keep the fossil one too. Okay, 3. 3 little dinosaur things. It's fine. And this is my representation of cowboyness, because he's already got the boots and the hat, so I was like, I don't need too much. And then cat pictures. I definitely wanted many cat pictures in his room. Cat pictures, and then there's 2 posters that are like band poster kind of things, because he did have a poster originally that probably could be misconstrued as a band poster. I don't know, it's very... I've read it many different ways throughout this challenge, just because it depended on what I needed and what I thought fit the character, but... I wanted him to have some sort of cat poster. You'll see I have flag there, but didn't make it in, but if you know, you know, and yes, that's what I do think. I love that clock. And I just gave him kind of some little postcards. And that's basically it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of Tybalt's room, what you think about me making him kind of a total dinosaur nerd. I appreciate any feedback you have. Definitely give this video a like if you've enjoyed it. This is one of our last ones. We just got, I think, 2 more left. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.